Good morning, everybody. Today is February 11th, year 2022. Here with me today, my right-hand man, my PIO, Matt Jacobs. Morning, Matt.
Good morning, Al.
Hey, today we're going to come to you and let you know some information about the Storm Prediction Center, how they rate some storms, so you understand it a little bit better, and the difference between watches and warnings, as well as a overview of what's going on right now in the United States.
That's correct, Al. And as you can see, there is a system that is stretching all the way on the north side of Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, all the way back into Missouri, that is causing right now just normal precipitation for the United States, with the exception of a little bit of snow excuse me, and freezing rain in northeastern Indiana, north of Fort Wayne, into southern Michigan, as well as it looks like the Toledo area as well are seeing a little bit of snow fall at this time.
Matt, we didn't talk about this prior to doing this, but something we might want to mention real quick. I just seen this. Get it pull up here real quick. We do have a snow squall warning. If I could read that real quick, the National Weather Service in North Platte, Nebraska, has issued a snow squall warning for eastern Cherry County, southwestern Brown County, and northwestern Blaine County in north central Nebraska until 9:30 a.m. And this is Central Standard Time. It will be 8:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We have one over that area, as well as another snow squall warning. National Weather Service in Rapid City, South Dakota, has issued a snow squall warning for Meade County and Pennington County in west central Dakota until 8:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you're in them areas, might want to keep a close eye on the weather. Looks like them just popped up here on us here real recent.
And I was getting ready to get over that way out, but as you can see, across parts of Montana, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Colorado, no, that would be
Wyoming.
Wyoming, yeah. You moved the map right as I was saying.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You are experiencing snowfall at this point. So, and once again, with the two snow squall warnings in South Dakota and Nebraska. So that is a current look at the weather across our country at this time. Looking ahead to the next 12 hours out, I believe some of this rain will switch over to snow, freezing rain mix for parts of Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois this evening.
Absolutely, Matt. And Matt, with you being up in the upper northwest of Ohio there, it's going to be closer to switching over faster for you than for me. I'm down here in the Dayton area. We got a couple other directors up in the upper northwest, one down in the Paducah area. We've got a member up here in the Meade area, I believe it is. Yeah, Meadville area of Pennsylvania, as well as another member in Tulsa. So we keep a very close eye on that areas, Matt. But Matt, when we're talking about this weather, like these snow squall warnings and stuff like that, what's a good way to go for our viewers to go find out information?
Sure thing, Al. Obviously, National Weather Service is great for putting out more generalized weather information. But if you're looking for a very specific warning, watch, or even the mesoscale discussions, which we've talked about off and on through our videos, you can go to the Storm Prediction Center. And there's a very specific reason why we're bringing up the Storm Prediction Center. But before we talk about that, let's take a step back and explain to you who the Storm Prediction Center is and what their importance is during severe weather days. And when I say severe weather, I'm talking about all forms of severe weather, whether it be a hurricane, winter weather, or even tornadic activity. The Storm Prediction Center was founded in 1995, and they actually fall under the National Centers for Environmental Prediction. And that is the parent company, which covers a lot more. They cover global weather, space weather. So they are the parent company, which all falls under the National Weather Service. This is just the more specialized organization within the National Weather Service. And their job is to look at models the same way we do, Al, and they see that there may be a risk for the potential for severe weather. And they will decide what the risk is. And I believe at one time I heard James Spann said there are 57 parameters that the Storm Prediction Center looks at in determining their forecast for severe weather. And that includes just a few things. That includes is dew points, humidity, wind shear, bulk wind shear, barometric pressure, just to name a few, just to give you an idea of the things that they have to look at while forecasting and predicting the potential for severe weather. And one thing we wanted to talk about today, Al, was I'm sure even your local meteorologists have made mention of this graph, as Al will be pulling it up here in 1 second. And we wanted to also talk about this so you can better understand when they say you're under a marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, or high risk for severe weather, what exactly that means and what you can expect if you are in said outlook. So the thunderstorm risk starts with a general thunderstorm, which is the pale green here. And that is no severe thunderstorms are expected at this time. The big threat usually is lightning and flooding. Then you move into the marginal risk, which is the very lowest risk. They call it the number one. Isolated severe storms are possible and usually limited in duration. This is where if you do get tornadic activity, it's a quick spin up and little to no damage most of the time. Straight line winds and flooding will be your main threat with a marginal risk. Then when you get into your slight risk, it's scattered severe storms are possible. And once again, this is more short-lived, but that you cannot rule out more isolated, intense storms within a slight risk. Moving to the enhanced risk, this is kind of where people should really be paying extra attention at this point in the enhanced risk, because this is where you start seeing your more widespread intense storms. As a matter of fact, it was the December tornado outbreak in the Kentucky, Arkansas, Southern Illinois area. They were under an enhanced risk at the start of that day. I don't know if I do believe parts did eventually go to a moderate risk, but they started the day in an enhanced risk, and you see the widespread destructive damage that happened that day. So,
Matt, I believe here in the Dayton area, the Memorial Day tornadoes, I believe we was in slight and got bumped to enhanced right before the big F4 tornado went through, declaring a tornado emergency, just like the tornado system that went through the areas you talked about.
And a moderate risk, widespread severe storms are likely, and these will be the start of your long-lived, long-track tornadoes. And there will be damaging winds associated with these storms, as well as damaging hail. And this is where, unfortunately, destruction of property, where a marginal risk, you may get shingle damage. When you get into your enhanced and moderate risk, these are the tornadoes that will basically can take your home off of a foundation. It can completely level your homes, just to give you an idea. And then obviously a high risk day, that is almost an emergency level day. I know the day that sticks out for me, and I do believe this is the only time this has happened. 4/27/11, for those of you who are in the Alabama, Mississippi area, you are under a high risk 3 days. So I believe it was the night of the 24th. You were under a high risk for severe weather for the 27th. And, the outcome of that day. There were the most F5 tornadoes to ever happen, the most destruction for a tornado outbreak, et cetera, et cetera. These are the days where if you do not have an underground shelter, there is a good chance, even if you do get to your safe place, it may not be safe enough. So on high risk days, you need to plan in accordance, because a lot of times, unfortunately, loss of life is numerous during high risk days.
Absolutely, Matt. If I can back up here 1 second on you, when we was over on this down here, there's a scale just talking about what you were mentioning between 1991 and 2021. Your tornado fatalities has shows what you're referring to in 2011 on that graph right there.
And the majority of that, unfortunately, was, think about 2011, and you had, I believe it was close to a month after the Alabama, Mississippi outbreak, you also have the Joplin tornado as well. So, not to get too deep into that, but, that was a year that I don't know if we'll ever see again in our lives, Al.
I hope not.
Oh, yeah, same here. But I also do want to say, just because you are under a marginal or slight risk for severe weather does not mean you do not take it serious, because as Al and I know, we've seen several tornadoes, even not in a severe, the SPC risk categories. I believe it was January 1, 2021, Troy, Ohio.
Yeah, we was over here at General Thunderstorm. I don't even know if we was marginal or not. It was kind of a pop out of nowhere.
So just because, even if you're in a general thunderstorm risk, it says no severe thunderstorms expected, does not mean it cannot happen. Once again, there are several parameters that are constantly changing in the atmosphere. Like I said, bulk wind shear, winds aloft, the
updraft, your dew points.
And we don't want to get too technical into this video, but just to say, follow a dew point for one day. It is constantly going up and down and up and down. Dew points that, once they creep up to that 50-degree line above, that is cause for concern as far as severe weather. So all that is rapidly changing. And that's just to say that just because you're in a marginal risk at the start of the day does not mean, one, you can't be elevated to a higher risk, or two, that the marginal risk cannot produce damaging storms, or even the general thunderstorm risk at times. Severe storms can pop out of there as well.
Absolutely, Matt. And the big key part of this is to make sure you're continuously staying weather aware. If you're in a marginal, or you see you're going to be in a slight risk, get on the National Weather Service website, follow along with it if it is in your area, especially once it gets to slight, enhanced, moderate, or high. I'd really be paying a lot more attention to that. And you might hear the meteorologist on your local area saying, we've got a 2 out of 5 risk today. This is exactly what they're talking about. You've got a slight risk, a 2 out of 5, or a 4 out of 5, a moderate. That's why they put the numbers up there. You can hear it either way, whether they're saying slight or 2 out of 5. It lets you know the parameters in which you're looking at. And again, you can follow that on the National Weather Service website, or make sure to follow us here on our YouTube and our social media platforms. I can promise you, we do follow.
Well, a couple other things, Al. One thing I do like that the Weather Channel does that National Weather Service doesn't always do is when the TORCON, which is this right here, this is their version of the SPC thunderstorm risk. They will say, we'll just use Van Wert County. It's the general area around Van Wert County, but they'll say in or within 50 miles of where we put this risk area. So let's say Al lives in over here in Dayton. It's a little outside of 50 miles an hour, but let's hypothetical, he's within 50 miles of me. That means just because Van Wert County is under or we'll use Greenville to date.
That's about 50 miles right there, Greenville, give or take.
So if Greenville is under a 2 out of 5, the TORCON will say within 50 miles. So everything within the circle of the 50-mile radius, I'm pointing at my screen and blocking my own face. So can be under that same risk. So just because you may not be in that risk area, keep in mind, it is a 50-mile radius around where the risk is.
Hey, Matt, I have a question for your risk. We're going to just hypothetically, National Weather Service says that this area that I'm blocking out here is at a 2 out of 5 risk. We'll go 3 out of 5. We'll make it interesting for this risk. Does that mean Salina and Wapakoneta and Cincinnati down towards Cincinnati, Mason, and Wilmington is all in the clear? No, they don't have to worry about anything.
Well, and that's what I was just referring to, Al, is that 50-mile radius. Wapakoneta to Van Wert would be, or just outside of Wapak, that would be 50 miles. So if you take a 50-mile radius around all of that, technically you could even go into parts of central Indiana at that point and say, you need to be aware of that as well. Like they said, the rule is a 50-mile radius of the outlook risk area.
Absolutely. Back out of my what you call it there.
And another thing, Al, you were talking about, obviously, we do our very best to keep everyone weather aware, but we all have lives, we all have jobs, whatever. One thing I recommend everybody to have is a NOAA weather radio. They have handheld versions, they have crank versions, solar panel versions. So this way, if power goes out, you still have access to warnings and all of that. So as much as I would like to say the Ford brothers will have every storm ever covered, but it's physically impossible. It just is. We don't have a team like the National Weather Service or NOAA, the Storm Prediction Center. So my recommendation would be have at least one, if not multiple, NOAA weather radios so you can have instant access to the warnings and watches in your area.
Absolutely, Matt. And what that's going to do is that's going to let you know if you are having a watch or a warning in your area. What kind of day are we doing? And up here on the screen right now, I have it pulled up on the difference between watches versus warning. And you can see here that a watch, it's kind of along what we was talking about in the scale there from the National Weather Service. You know, watch is is the duration. We'll start with the duration part of it. A watch, few to several hours. You know, this is coming your way. So, you know, just be on the lookout. You know, it's coming in our general direction versus a warning, which like say, hey, listen, within the next 20 minutes to an hour, you're going to have a storm. Okay. And again, uh, piggybacking on what Matt was saying, just because that storm is right there on radar and you see it move in your area, doesn't mean that storm is going to hold that shape. It might shift and move around north or south, whatever. It might die out completely. It might jump straight into a tornadic.
Al,
So,
if I may, really quick, and I don't mean to interrupt you, I
no, no.
apologize. But a watch, it goes back to what we were talking about. Enough of those parameters were met in the atmosphere that the SPC, and it's the SPC that will put out the watches. They've determined that enough of those parameters have been met that conditions are favorable for the likelihood of severe weather.
Absolutely. And you'll notice watches are generally larger than warning. And that's because they're putting a watch over a large swath of area because that whole area has met them parameters. That doesn't mean it's met the parameters. It's going to have a severe storm. That just means you need to be on the watch out for a severe storm. Where in the coverage area, a large section of the state or portions of a few states could be in the watch area versus a warning means they're going to hone down, they're going to zoom in, and it's going to be part of a county or maybe the border between two counties, you know, or the entire county, but it's not going to be, you know, 15, 20 counties at a time. You know, the storm itself is going to be an isolated area. Although around that, like we was talking about earlier, the parameters has been met and we've got a 50+ mile thing around the border, not the storm, but the border that, you know, another storm can fire, you know, 50 miles away and that become warned. So again, watch means be on the lookout. Warning means that you need to be extra weather aware that most likely that storm is imminent coming your direction. And your advance notice, Matt, you can look here, like watches is going to be hour to several hours in advance of the storm, just so you have going out for the day, you have an advance notice, you know, hey, I need to be on the lookout. This could go south on me here real quick. Versus a warning is going to be like mentioned above, you know, 20 minutes to an hour before the storm actually hits your area. You can have minutes to react because some of these storms can go from a a general thunderstorm to a severe weather thunderstorm in a matter of minutes. And there's some specific parameters the National Weather Service needs on issuing a warning. Whether this is a warning. This is not severe thunderstorm warning. This is tornado warning. This is winter storm warning. Everything has its own parameters. But for this segment, we're going to be talking about summertime warnings. So it's going to be severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. You know, there's some criteria on is there hail associated with this? Is, you know, what are the winds? You know, is this going to be a special weather statement saying, hey, we got winds and some light hail with this? Or is this going to be a warning saying, you know, we've got extremely high winds and some severe uh, hail associated with this cell right now? And that brings us up to our final part, our actions. And Matt alluded to this earlier with the category 4 and category 5, your moderate, your slight, moderate, and high. Your watch means you need to have a game plan. When, like I said earlier, when you go out for a day, you have an idea that, you know, this could happen. Have that in the back of your mind. If you're going for a sporting event, you know, keep an eye up at the clouds. If you see it starting to darken, or, you know, if you hear some thunder in in the background, when thunder roars, go indoors, seek shelter, versus a warning being issued. And most of us have smartphones now with the automatic warning devices in it, built in by, and it's not national, it's Department of Homeland actually issues the warnings on our phones. I believe National Weather Service sends it to them and they activate the EAS part of it. Versus your warning going off, that means you are within that area. You need to seek shelter immediately. Lightning, you do not have to be underneath of a cloud to get struck by lightning. The wind, once it picks up, it could be in advance of the actual storm. So you could start getting some dangerous winds before the storm even gets to you. So again, the severe warning or the severe weather between watch and warning, here's a good outline on how to react to those when they're issued for your area.
And excuse me, Al, if I may,
Yeah.
one thing I want to clear up is a common misconception. When people hear tornado warning, they automatically think that that means there is a tornado on the ground and heading in their direction. And I understand the confusing part of this, and I would just like to take a couple minutes here to clear this up.
Yes. Go ahead, man.
A tornado warning means that there is enough rotation within a supercell thunderstorm that the conditions within that said storm are favorable to produce a tornado. It does not mean a tornado has or is occurring within that supercell thunderstorm. The reason why the National Weather Service puts that warning out is this storm has strengthened and shown that it is producing upper to mid-level rotation, which means, and I don't want to get too technical, the mesocyclone or the parent cloud has developed rotation. And within that rotation, they've determined that there is a good chance that that tornado or that mesocyclone, that supercell thunderstorm, will produce a tornado.
Absolutely, Matt. And again, like Matt was saying, this does not mean a tornado is on the ground. It means there's likelihood that one could be produced. The difference between what is referred to as a TOR, a tornado warning, a TORR, confirmed tornado on the ground, and a TORE, which is a tornado emergency, shouldn't concern you. What you need to know, if it says tornado warning and you're in that, you need to seek shelter. If it is a rotating wall cloud that goes over your house, great, you're safe, everything's good. But if it's a rotating wall cloud 1 mile from your house, and by the time it gets to your house, that funnel cloud now, or that wall cloud has produced a funnel cloud that has came down to touch the ground and become a tornado, is 1 block away from your house. Now you're already in your safe place. So a warning is a warning. If you hear a warning, seek shelter immediately. What we're doing right now is describing the warning differences for you. Your phone will just say, tornado warning. If you read into it, a lot of the times, or not all of the time, it will go down and it will tell you the source is radar indicated rotation, which is exactly what Matt was describing, that the parent storm has got rotations, and this is something going on. We're saying that a tornado is likely, versus this is and it will tell you on there, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground. And the radar and some of our other videos, and we will go more in depth with this on future videos, we do have ways to see if a tornado is on the ground. We have through our radar, we have ways to see if it's throwing stuff aloft in the air. We have ways to look at the wind speeds to see the winds coming to and from the radar site to know there is rotation, things like that. But but the big thing we want to get in this is warning is warning. Seek shelter immediately. We'll worry about whether it's a rotating wall cloud or it's a large, destructive, dangerous tornado on the ground heading your way. The the big thing you need to know, warning means seek shelter immediately. And real quick, Matt, say you live in a regular ranch, a typical American ranch house in the Platte, and there's a tornado warning. Could you give me one quick spot that you should seek in this? If you don't know a good tornado safe spot in your house, where could you go to seek some refuge or shelter during this event?
Sure thing, Al. So if you live in a house with no basement, the rule of thumb is most interior room of your house with no windows. I know a lot of times people seek shelter in the bathroom. So I know that that is a possibility of a place, but I know a lot of places with windows in their bathrooms. So if you have a closet and it's an interior room with no windows, that would be a great place. And not only that, but when a watch is issued, here's a few things I would like to mention. Make sure that in case, worst case scenario, your house does get hit by a tornado, that you do have access to water, drinking water, that is. Make sure that you are maybe possibly have some non-perishable food items, and also have, a lot of people will say a helmet, and possibly like a mattress or something to put over yourself in case, just to protect your body and your head from possible debris falling on top of you. These are things, like it says here, have a plan. I just wanted to kind of go over that in a little bit more in depth from a safety standpoint. If you live in a mobile home, Al, you should have a plan in place where if you know somebody with a basement, if you know somebody with a shelter, a safe spot, see if the conditions continue to worsen. Can you go there? But make sure you give yourself enough time to where you're not getting caught in the storm, but make sure you have a place you can go to stay safe from the storm, because the worst place outside of being in a car you could be during a tornado warning is in a trailer, mobile home.
Absolutely, Matt. And again, this goes under the planning part. Be aware. You know your area. If you live in the Midwest, you should already. This should be second nature to you. And like Matt says, if you live in a mobile home or something like that, don't wait for a tornado warning to come out to say, hey, I know you got a basement. Can I come over? They might not be home. It might be too late. Try to already think in the back of your mind or have a plan established in the event of a warning. This is where we're going to go. I have friends that live in a mobile home that the last tornado warning, which the last tornado warning was issued for my area, I actually called National Weather Service and let them know that I did have 2 funnel clouds going over my house, and they came to my house because I have a basement. And that was their plan. So have a plan already uh, planned out before the warning. During the warning might be too late, and giving the direction of it. You don't want to, like for my area, going to the west, southwest, or south could be a bad area because that's where my storms come out of, and I could be going towards the tornado that's racing at me. And I don't want to get too long on this, Matt. I know we're wanting to keep this video a little short. I do know that our director of safety, Abbott, and the safety team is working on a video and stuff like that. So the safety team will be putting out a video hopefully here soon to give people some safety tips. I'm not exactly sure what their video is over, if it's going to be over still winter weather preparedness, or if they're going to start moving ahead towards spring and stuff like that. But I do know they do have a plan in play that they're going to be working on here shortly. So make sure to stay up to date with us here, liking us and subscribing to our channel so you are aware when we put out not only these educational videos, whether it's from my division or the other 4 divisions, well, 3 with mine being the 4th, other three divisions when we put out educational videos on this. But
Well, one last thing I'd like to say, Al.
Yeah.
Going back to kind of like the Polygon box that they put out, or for the warnings. The warning, the Polygon box. Well, we just had very strange event occur last week when we were covering the winter weather event. Right as soon as we went to go on for a live stream, tornado warnings started popping up. And I believe it was Mississippi, Alabama.
Okay, I'm drawing a purple line right there for the ice snowstorm, all of that, like 2,000-mile ice storms. Right when we went to go on, this area right here in red went tornadic on us. You can see the difference between Birmingham and Mississippi, Birmingham and Memphis. This is the difference between ice and tornadoes that we was dealing with last Thursday, I believe it was.
My whole point in bringing that up is we were tracking a tornado. We were trying to find traffic cams and stuff like that. At one point in time, it appeared that the tornado was heading right for the Birmingham radar site. The next scan, it had probably shifted. What would you say, Al? 11 miles north?
Correct. And there was several different times it went to where it's going to go. Was it not Tuscaloosa?
Birmingham.
No. Before Birmingham, it begins with a T. Tuskegee? No. Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
It was aiming towards Tuscaloosa, more north. Then it fell down south, aiming towards Birmingham. Then it was going to go off to the southeast of Birmingham. Then it went back. All these tracks that, we have the ability to look at the trajectory, and we was watching it tick-tock back and forth.
But the reason I bring that up, Al, is just because you may not be within the Polygon box, the warning box, when something is going through your county. It doesn't mean you are necessarily in the clear until you're told so by meteorologists or local law enforcement, whatever. Because, like we said, there was an 11-mile difference north and south between heading toward Birmingham's radar site to downtown Birmingham. Thankfully, that storm ended up lifting back off the ground before it got to downtown Birmingham. But all that to say, if you are within a good 20-mile radius of a tornado warning, a severe thunderstorm warning, you're not necessarily in the clear. That is just the current trajectory the storm is taking.
Absolutely, Matt. And like I said, it's all about preparedness, making sure you're weather aware, making sure you're, and I don't expect general public to follow it like you and I, Matt. We're day in, day out. I know this is, I run models and do stuff multiple times a day just to see the change. But stay weather aware, keep an eye out, make sure if you have a smartphone, make sure your phone is set to be able to receive the EAS warnings. If your local storm team or NWS, go to there, they have apps out there to help you just in case you don't want to follow weather. They have apps out there to help give you that leadway. And Matt, before we sign off, again, that same area that we started this episode with has now got another snow squall warning out of La Platte, Nebraska. Cherry County, Brown County, and Blaine counties is now under a snow squall warning until 10:15 a.m. Central Time and 9:15 a.m. Mountain Time. And the reason we say that is their National Weather Service does cover 2 time zones. And you can expect poor visibility and snow blowing, poor visibility in snow and blowing snow with wind gusts greater than 30 mile an hour. And our last one right up, and it's just going to be in the same area. Another one out of Rapid City, South Dakota, Meade and Pennington County until 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Again, extremely poor visibility in and blowing snow. Wind gusts greater than 50 miles an hour in this. This could cause for some whiteout conditions. So if you're in the highways with heavy snow, again, this is our safety division. I don't want to get too in depth on it, but make sure you got your headlights on and things like that. Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say really quick, right along with what you were saying, the impact. It said life-threatening. If you're, dangerous, life-threatening travel. That's how it was worded. So stay at home if you absolutely can. If you must be out there, slow down, take a little time, exercise caution while you're out.
Right there. Reduce your speed, turn on your headlights during snow squalls. The visibility may suddenly drop to near zero with whiteout conditions. If you read on into it, that it comes over your phone. If you read into it, it will give you some safety advices. And up here, the hazards, it'll tell you what's going on. And this is where, under the tornado warning we was talking about, it'll say radar indicated or confirmed tornado on the ground or tornado emergency, whatever the situation is. Source, again, this is not spotter. This is radar indicated. This could be EMA, National Weather Service, Storm Spotter reported like that. But we're going to go ahead and pull this to a close, Matt. Before we go, we got some house duties here we need to talk about. I'll let you go ahead and start. Well, no, actually, I'm gonna start on this. I'm gonna go over the social media stuff, and you, my friend, have something we want to talk about on YouTube that I find very exciting. But right now, obviously, you can find us here on YouTube. That's where you're watching us. But on YouTube and Facebook, you can find us under the number 4 Brothers Storm Team. And again, that's both on Facebook and YouTube. We do put all of our videos on both platforms. If you're interested in our Twitter, you can look us up at Brothers, plural, Storm Team, all one word, BROTHERSTORMTEAM, at Brothers Storm Team. And then our website, Matt, go ahead and take it over for our website and tell them the exciting news that's coming down the pike.
Sure thing, Al. Our website is For Brothers Storm Team, 2 S's between brothers and storm team.org. As you can see, we are in the process of, we finished a major facelift. If you want to just quickly scroll through and just give them
I will as you're talking, buddy.
Sure thing. A brief overview of the new look of our website. I think it's very clean, it's very sleek, and gives our mission and our goals as to why we formed our team, and some pictures just to show the diverse weather that we cover. The history of our team right there. You can see when we were founded and why we were founded and all the different storms we've been involved in as a team. We will also, as we're bringing more and more members on the team, by the way, at the bottom, I'll bring that up in a second, we're going to have a featured member of the month, the person that's went above and beyond and really did an exemplary, I can't say that word, job for the team. At the bottom of that page, if you are interested in being a part of a storm team, we are a nationwide team. Join there is a spot to where you can send us a message saying you want to join us. As you can see, we have a media gallery. This is Director 100 Al Dennis's photos, just a small snippet of all the stuff he has to offer. This is our Director of Radar, Austin McDowell, and his weather photos. And this is Director 300, our Director of Safety, Abbott Carter, and some of his photos. And these are your PIO, Matt Jacobs. These are that's me, his photos. As you can see, he had fun in the ocean playing with the dogs. We did post one YouTube video on here, and we found some really good, I think, weather quotes to add to our Sharon L. Adler. If you ever get a chance to look up her works, she does a very good job and has a lot of great weather poems and quotes and things like that. So, and then a Mark Twain quote with that beautiful shot of lightning. And then stop, road closed. Sign up here. Join the team today. If you're interested in joining the weather team, you can do simply, if you want to be a spotter chaser, you can be a spotter chaser all the way to safety, radar, and join us here on the communications team. We have ugly mugs. If you're better looking than us, please join the communications team.
Absolutely.
Bring up the appeal. And then, of course, we are a proud member of the Weather Ready Nation Ambassador Program, which means we are doing our part to spread weather awareness and make sure that you know when watches, warnings, and all that are being issued. As you can see at the bottom, links to our Twitter, our Facebook, and our email. So if you want to find us and you don't remember our handles online, you can find them there. Another thing is this is a bio if you want to know a little bit more about our directors and who they are and why they are involved with the weather. There's Austin McDowell, our Director 200, Abbott Carter, Director 300.
And I went a little fast here. Austin's our director over radar. Abbott is our director over safety. And this is Brandon. He's our director over our spotter and chaser division.
I've not put my bio on there yet as a PIO. I should get on that. But eventually we will be getting our channels to where you can hear us give alerts and talk about radar. That will be posted on there, as well as everyone's weather stations. So look forward to that. Also, one more piece of information before we leave. The Four Brothers Storm team have decided to step up the YouTube video game, more specifically the communications department, and we will be doing a more regional and localized view of the weather moving forward. So we'll use Montgomery County, where Al's located. Let's say there may be some weather going on in his area. And while we cover all watches and warnings, we are going to be looking at a more localized view moving forward of whoever's county. So if you would like a more localized view of your county, wherever you're located within the United States, because that's the only radar we have access to, we would love to give you a look at your, not just your current radar condition, but your forecast for the next 5 to 7 days. So reach out to us here in the comments below if you'd like to see your neck of the woods be featured on the Four Brothers Storm team.
Absolutely sorry about that. I muted myself. Had some fire tones. I don't know if you could hear it or not. Had some fire tones going off in the background. But yeah, I mean, this is nationwide. If you're interested into it, and you are one of our subscribers, shoot us a message. Let us know, hey, I hear there's going to be some rain near St. Louis. You tell us the county, give us a rough idea where you're at. We don't need to know your home location. We don't know, like in my case, where to pull it up. I'm located here in New Lebanon. You see how far I had to zoom in to get it, how far I had to zoom in to get it. Just tell us the big city you're around. Give us an idea, Dayton, Montgomery County, so we'll focus in on that area and we'll give you all the information Matt said. Well, but we're really excited about this feature to get to interact more with our viewers, and more importantly, to help get weather information out.
And don't forget, Al, we do have Radar Omega. So if you give us your city, there's a search bar on Radar Omega where we can type in your city and state, and we can pull, or even your county, and we can pull up uh, or type it in the search bar, and we can find exactly where you're at. So you can be as specific or as vague as you want, depending on, obviously we don't want your home address. There's no need for that, but I'm just saying city, county, whatever the case may be there. Once again, Four Brothers Storm Team on Facebook, YouTube, and at Brothers Storm Team on Twitter. We may, and I know I've said this the past couple of videos, maybe looking into other things, other avenues where we may be getting involved in some other social media platforms and some stuff like that. So stay tuned for that, as well as we may be, like I said, looking to expand where we provide weather information.
Absolutely, Matt. We're going to do our best to help you out in all facets of weather. We have the abilities to track out west for the fire season, smog, fog. It doesn't have to all be bells and whistles of tornadoes, hurricanes, and blizzards. We can cover a lot of different things, and I'm really excited about this new endeavor we're getting ready to travel on. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be quite a bit of additional work, but we're here at Four Brothers are ready to put it down and do some work. We love this. This is our passion, and we want to do as much as we can. With that, we're going to sign out here. Again, we'd really like to thank everybody who's watched. Again, please give us a thumbs up. Let us know you watched the video, you enjoyed it, and that you like the content. This is the content we're wanting to put out more of. If you like it, we'll put out more informational videos like this. The thumbs ups merely just lets us know, hey, we like the new content and we want to see more of it. Leave us a comment down below, letting us know, hey, that was a good thing, but I want to know about, more in depth about, something else in the weather. What is a derecho? Something, whatever it is you have a question on, and we will not only give you a shout out on the video, but we'll do our research and make sure we have all of our ducks in a row, and we'll do a video over that topic with your shout out for that. And more importantly than the thumbs up or the comment, make sure to subscribe. Subscribe to our channel so that way you can be alerted when we put out one of these educational videos. Unfortunately, we're right back at an hour. We honestly came in wanting to do this a short video over watches and warnings, but there's so much we want to talk about. There's so much we want to tell you that we'll get on these little rabbit holes to where we go a little bit deeper than we want, because we're passionate about this. We love weather, and we want to let you know as much about it as we know. We want to help you. We want you to be weather aware, and we want you and your family to be safe. And we're trying to relay that to you and help you prepare and be prepared for these events. But we're going to sign out. Go ahead, Matt. I'll let you kick her off.
I'm Matt Jacobs, once again, Public Information Officer for the Four Brothers Storm Team.
And I'm Al Dennis, the Director of Communication with the Four Brothers Storm Team. Again, we'd like to thank everybody for watching the video, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully you're staying on the warm side of the door. Everybody have a wonderful day.